The human mind has a natural fear of objects that fit into the uncanny valley, the space occupied by human-like things that provoke a sense of unease in actual humans. Things like mannequins, robots, video game models, and other things that seem human-like but aren't quite there fit into this category. On that note, one thing that definitely fits into the category of the uncanny valley, and something that most people seem to feel uneasy around, are dolls. Dolls fit that uncomfortable middle ground between lifelike and clearly inanimate, not quite fully human, but not quite something else either. It doesn't help that the media is also full of reasons to fear dolls, with movies like The Conjuring, Annabelle, Chucky, and Dead Silence. However, at the end of the day, we all know dolls can't really hurt us. I mean, they are inanimate, so they can't move, hence they can't harm us. Or can they? Let me introduce you to Robert the doll, a male-like doll adorned with a small sailor suit and accompanying hat. The doll itself is relatively withered, and definitely gives off a strange vibe. However, there is more to Robert's uncanny appearance that makes him terrifying, that being the countless accounts tied to the doll of bad luck, accidents, and even death. Currently, Robert resides in the Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. Robert is the museum's pride and joy, as well as a major attraction for the establishment. Many people even cited that the reason they went to see the museum was solely to take a gander at Robert the doll. But before he found a home at the museum, Robert lived with painter Robert Eugene Otto. So out of convenience, we're going to call Robert Eugene Otto Gene, because that's what he responded to. And when referring to the doll, we will call it Robert. Good? Good. Alright, let's continue. Gene was just a young boy, around the age of 9 or 10 when he first got the doll. According to the story, his family's maid gave Gene the strange, straw-filled doll as a gift to play around with. Reportedly, Gene loved the doll, so much so that he would take it anywhere he went. He loved the doll so much he even gave the doll its name, Robert, naming it after himself. However, it wouldn't be long that people would start to notice that Robert was more than just a doll, but rather a malevolent entity residing inside of it. Rumor has it that every now and again, the people in the Otto residence would hear Gene talking to his doll. Normally that wouldn't be out of the ordinary, but the issue was that when they heard Gene talking to the doll, they heard two voices. One squeaky, distinctive voice belonging to Gene, and the other, much deeper, described as rigid, like a voice of someone who had been smoking for their whole life. As time went by, these mysterious occurrences would only continue to escalate. On occasion, the Ottos would wake up to their son screaming in the night, cowering in bed with the furniture tossed around, turned, or knocked over. Other times, they would even find Gene curled up in the corner of his room, tears flowing from his eyes, and Robert sitting perfectly on the bed, facing Gene. The horrors didn't stop there. Not too long after, the Ottos would find Gene's mutilated toys around the house. They would also find a lot of kitchen knives missing and placed around the house, and reportedly, one was even thrust through Gene's door. The family would soon find that the furniture seemed to move on its own, and sometimes even be found stacked or turned over. Gene's parents would be quick to pin the blame on him, but to their surprise, he would always claim, Robert did it. Gene's parents didn't believe him, although they have been cited in saying that they could hear some unknown laughter, and it is widely assumed that the eerie giggling they heard was in fact Robert's. Furthermore, people who walked by the house, and neighbors included, all claimed to have seen a small doll moving from window to window. In some accounts, the doll even caused some of the houseworkers to have terrible accidents, from a chef having boiling water dropped on his face, to a maid falling down the stairs and breaking her arm and wrist. And it should be noted that Robert was found in both accidents. With there being no halt to the bizarre phenomenon, Gene's mother eventually moved and locked Robert to the attic, in hopes that her son would stop behaving so deviously, or better yet, that the doll's vicious pranks would come to an end. As time would have it, both of Gene's parents would pass away, and Gene would inherit the mansion. Gene took Robert out of the attic and moved him into his old bedroom. By that time, Gene had already began working as an artist. The locals then began insisting that he would stay in his mansion for days, not taking even a single step outside, and play with Robert for hours on end. Gene would soon get married, and tales of his wife's disdain for Robert arose. Many different rumors regarding her cause of death began to rise. Some reports claiming that she was found with a knife thrusted through her chest, another claiming that she died from a heart attack, and the last claiming she died of insanity. Although one thing persists between all three reports, Robert was found sitting perfectly next to her body. A few years would pass, and Gene would too follow the same fate as his beloved wife. He died in 1974, right beside his favorite doll, Robert. Today the mansion is now a bed and breakfast, known as the Artist House. Visitors can even stay in the room where Robert stayed. As for the doll, it, like I said earlier, now resides in Fort East Martello Museum in Key West, Florida. It's here where Robert's curse seemed to take effect. You see, Robert is kept in a glass box, and according to the museum, you should take caution when entering his vicinity. Robert is known for casting curses on those who don't show respect. If you want to take a picture or video of Robert, you have to ask permission. If you take a video or picture of Robert without permission, he will proceed to curse you, and you will be stricken with severe bad luck until you apologize. Apparently, before the museum knew any of this was possible, before they knew of Robert's curse, someone took a picture of Robert without asking, only to turn up 3 miles later, dead in a car accident. On an added note, it seems Robert is quite the sensitive doll, for if you make fun of him, he will proceed to curse you anyway, despite not taking a picture or video of him. To this day, there are hundreds of letters plastered across his display, of people begging for Robert's forgiveness and asking him to remove any hex he has cast. The following is one of the letters that was sent to Robert. Dear Robert, you have probably received many letters like this from many people like me, people who were sure there was no such thing as a Robert the Doll curse. You see, it is easy to act tough and try to impress your friends by being disrespectful, and unfortunately, that is the camp I find myself in. My name is Dan Schultz. Back in 2009, we visited the East Martello Museum. The entire purpose of our visit was to come and meet you. We have walked by your old house multiple times over the years, and have always wanted to visit you at the museum. Our visit was fun and informative, and seeing you was the best part. I am not sure what made me act like a jerk to you. I didn't ask for your permission to take your picture, and I openly mocked you. Like I said, I was just trying to be funny and impress the people I was visiting with. I in no way actually meant what I said, and I realize now that I made a big mistake. Since that day, in late 2009, we have had a run of bad luck. I have had multiple health issues. I had a near-death experience with anemia for one. We have had family members and pets die, and bad luck with our finances that ended us filing for bankruptcy and still having financial difficulties to this day. The purpose of this letter is to profoundly apologize and ask for your forgiveness. I have talked about this event on a popular travel podcast that I am now the co-host of. A podcast is a radio show people can hear on their computers, and will always speak with high respect of you. Again, Robert, please accept my sincere apologies, and if you see fit to forgive and end the bad luck, I would appreciate it, as would my family. Dan Schultz, West Palm Beach, Florida. The note stuck on it says, please post where Robert the Doll will see this. Another reads, Dear Robert, I am very sorry for not asking your permission to take your picture while visiting the museum last week. Since I have taken your picture without permission, many strange things have happened to me. While driving back from the Keys, a deer ran out in front of our car. We had to swerve to avoid hitting it, and ran off the road. We almost hit a tree. 2 days later, we had a small kitchen fire. Also, we have been hearing childlike giggles from our basement. Last night, I was home all alone. I heard a voice coming from the basement. When I went to investigate, I tripped and fell down the bottom 3 stairs. I got up to run out, but the door was locked. My husband said that I probably turned the lock myself without even thinking about it, and locked myself in the basement. But honestly, Robert, we both know the truth. Please accept my deepest apologies for taking your picture without asking. Also, please accept my daughter's apology for sticking out her tongue at you and making fun of you. Sincerely, Rosie. Robert the Doll is one of the strangest phenomenon to ever greet mankind. It's not many times you actually get a story of a haunted doll believed by millions of people, the only other remarkable one being Annabelle. Robert's story became so famous that a movie was even created, simply titled Robert. Furthermore, his story also inspired the Child's Play series. Lastly, the story of Robert also spawned a book, Robert the Doll by David L. Sloan. Well, with that out of the way, let me leave you with this small factoid. Did you know, Robert's curse extends outside of not asking for permission when you take a picture or video of him? If you even so much as research, or watch a video discussing Robert, like this one right here, you too will be cursed. That is, unless you go apologize. So on that note, Robert, if you're listening, I am terribly sorry to research you, but you were simply far too interesting a case to pass up.